Hey guys, hello, what's up? Welcome back to another amazing video of Technical Zone. You're watching Technical Zone and I'm Umar, and welcome to the fourth part of the Java programming series. This part is going to be very significant. We are going to talk about errors, we are going to talk about tokens, and we are going to quickly revise what we learned in the previous episode. I highly advise all of you to please watch this episode from the starting till the end, and without wasting any time, let's quickly begin. So again, I'm going to take the help of a PowerPoint PPT which I've created, and we are going to refer to this PPT while we are learning. So firstly, we are having some points to remember, some important things which we covered in the previous episode, the previous part, and they need to be we need to ponder upon it again. We need to understand that once again so that it remains with us, because this is something very important. The first point says float values will have f at their end. For example, 3.7f. I'll quickly come on my program and I'll show you that last time we created this. Float c is equals to 4.5f. And for example, we are removing this f from here, then you will see that we are getting an error. I'm going to add an f and you'll see everything is happening as we wish. There is no syntax error, because putting an f at the end here is a part of the syntax. It's very significant. We will not put it, we are going to get an error for sure. F is a must when we are using float data type. Next point says value of a smaller data type can be stored in a bigger data type. For example, int d is equals to 4 and long abc is equals to d. What does this mean? Long abc is going to store d, and this d is referring to this. And what is d storing? D is storing 4. So automatically long abc is going to store the value 4. This can be done vice versa also. I can write long here, and I can come here and I can write int. But what we have to remember one thing, that the value 4 can be stored in long, okay, and if we are writing d here, this means we are referring to this d, so int is also going to store 4. This can be done. But for example, we are having a value that cannot be stored in int. That value is, let's say I'm just coming here and I'm writing a big value. Let's say that this particular number can be stored in long. Let's say that this number, I'm just cutting it, I'm coming here, erasing 4 and putting this number here. Let's say that this big number can be stored in a long data type, but int is small, is not big enough to store this number. Then an error is going to occur for sure, because then int will be incompatible with this value. But for example, we are having only 64, then no error is going to occur. So we generally convert a small value stored in a smaller data type into a bigger data type, and we prefer not to do it vice versa, because yes, there are chances that we get an error. Now the last point says that char values when stored in numeric data type will display their Unicode values. Now what is Unicode? I am quickly going to come here and I am going to type Unicode values, and you can see we are having a Wikipedia page. Just opening it, scrolling down, and let's come on the number 65. If I am not wrong, no, this is not the table which we require. We are again going to come on another website. We're going to quickly scroll down. We are going to search for 65. Unicode values 8 of A to Z. Okay, now coming here, you are going to see that we are having certain values. I think I am on the wrong website. I'll quickly find out Unicode values of A to C in Java. Yes, this is what we require. Now when we talk about Unicode values, then we basically refer to the numeric value of a character data type. For example, you can see in this diagram above A we have written 65, and we have said that 65 is the Unicode value of A. Now coming on my program to explain it in a better way, removing everything. Fine. Let's say that I have made a char data type. Let's say char B is equals to, let's say, A. Okay. And then I'm coming here and I'm writing int e1 is equals to b. Now for example, if I'm a beginner, then what is going to happen? I'm going to think that how is it possible? How can we store this a in int e1? It's not possible. It's going to throw an error. But as you can see, there is no error occurring here. Why? Because character a is having a numeric value associated to it. And what is that value associated with a? That value is 65. If I'm going to compile this and I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on void main, then you'll see 97 is coming because yes, there is an error here. I have to put capital A here. Then I'm going to get what I require, and that is 65. Just putting 65 here, and then clicking on compile and coming here, and you can see the value coming here is 65. Okay. Now, as you can see that when we are storing a certain character in a character type, and then we are storing, for example, we have made this variable b that is associated with the character data type, and then we are storing this b in e1, then automatically conversion is going to take place in which a is going to become 65. If I'm writing b here, then b is going to become 66. As you can see, I'm quickly going to compile. I'm going to again come here, void main. You can see 66. So for now, I'm not going to explain what is Unicode, what is ASCII, how does this conversion happen, or how do we determine what value is going to come if I convert a particular character. But for now, it's important to understand that if we talk about char values, and char values when stored in a numeric data type will display their Unicode values. A is having the numeric value 65, V is having 86, A again you can see 65, J is having 74, and this list is available on internet. You just need to type this Unicode values of A to Z in Java, and you are going to get what you wish to see. And the important thing which we need to understand here is that this program is not going to throw an error, because obviously beginners are always in this confusion that will this throw an error, because at first sight you are going to see that how can we store this character b in an int data type. This is not a number at all. Yes, agreed, this is not a number, but yes, this is also a matter of fact that this has a associated numeric value, and when we store b here, then we don't use this b, rather we use that associated numeric value, which in case of b is 66. Done. Simple to understand. Moving on, Java tokens. Now, what are tokens? Definition says that token is the smallest element of a program that is meaningful to the compiler. They are also known as the fundamental building blocks of the program. Tokens can be classified as this, and let's quickly open this side by side. Coming on the class, you can see we have used basically certain words to make this program. We have used class, ABC, static, void, main, and these words are the smallest part of a Java program. Yes. If I remove everything and I just put a word, for example, I'm removing everything, Control and X, then this class is a word. Rather, we can say it is the smallest part of a Java program. When compiler is going to execute, it is going to first execute the word class. After executing class, it will come and execute ABC. Then it will come and execute this curly brace. Then it will execute static. Then it will execute void. And like this it is going to happen. It is going to divide the whole program into words, into chunks. This is a word, this is a word, this is again a word, again a word. Not in English. This is obviously not a word in English. But yes, in Java language we can say that this is a meaningful element. Obviously, this is a meaningful element. This is again a meaningful element. This is a meaningful element. Everything is meaningful to the Java compiler. This is the thing. Things are getting executed, and we are getting the output. We are getting to see the output. Now, one element of a Java program, or you can say one word, or the smallest element of a Java program is called a token. Any small element, or you can say the smallest element of a Java program which is making sense to the compiler is a token. ABC, in English it does not make any sense. We don't have any word named ABC, but over here ABC is the name of the class, so it is making sense. So yes, it is important. If I will remove this, you can see the color scheme has gone. I am compiling it, you can see error is going to come. The error is here. So everything is meaningful to the compiler. Everything is important for execution, and these words, these tokens are the building blocks for Java program, because we refer to them collectively that this is a Java program, and we refer this one line collectively, that here we have made a variable and we have stored b in it. But for the Java virtual machine, for the compiler, these are separate, you can say, entities. They are executed separately. Understood? Now, obviously there are certain types to tokens. We are having keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, separators. Then total 5. Starting with keywords, what is a keyword? A keyword is something which already has a definition in Java. For example, class. Java already knows that what is a class. That class is a collection of objects. If I talk about char is a keyword. Java already knows that char is a data type where we store a single symbol. If I talk about static, then static is a property which we have given to the main method. Java already knows that what is the meaning of the word static. We don't need to tell Java. Java is already knowing this. It is already in use in the Java language. It is a part of the Java language, static. We have not created static. We have not made this token. This token is pre-existing, which we just have brought into use. Hence, these are keywords. Or if I say in a layman language, then keywords are tokens which keywords are tokens which are pre-existing. Simple to understand. We are just bringing them into use. We have not created them. Now identifiers. Yes, identifiers are basically names of variables, names of classes, objects which we have made. For example, ABC. If I want, I can put this here. I can write here maybe this HFJ, or maybe I can just put H. I can maybe put an X. Maybe I can put WER. This is what I'm creating. The name of the class is under my control. I am having the right to name this class whatever I wish to. And this is an identifier. In the very same way, I can write over here maybe B. I can write here CDE, BCDE. So again, this is under my control, BCDE. It is the name of a variable which I can change. Hence, again, BCDE is an identifier. Identifier is basically a name of a variable, a class, an object which the user has created, which the user has made. Simple to understand. Now next is literals. When we talk about literals, then they're basically the values which we store. So for example, I am having 2 variables. I am having 3 variables rather. Fine. I'm removing this E1 and I am putting here a numeric value. Let's say I am having 5. Yeah, I am having 5. So over here B and 5 are basically literals. Literal is whatever value we are storing in a variable. Whatever value is being stored in a variable is called a literal. Simple to understand. So anything which we are storing, any decimal value which we are storing, any integer which we are storing, any character which we are storing, any string which we are storing, all these are literals. Literals are of different data types. There are different types. So it can be an integer literal. As you can see here, 5. Obviously it is an integer, so you can call it an integer literal. B is a character, you will say it a character literal. If this would have been float here, and I would have written over here 5.5f, then this would have been a float point literal. If I would have used boolean here, then it would have been a boolean literal. So whatever value we are storing in a variable, that is a literal, and literals are of different categories, and these categories are based on the different data types. Simple to understand. Now literals, obviously you can say there's a category boolean literals, we are having character literals, we are having floating point literals, we are having integer literals, we have various sorts of literals depending on the different data types. We are going to deal with literals in a separate episode. We are going to talk more about it because it's a vast topic. Now coming on the next, operators and separators. Fine. Operators is also something which we will discuss in a further episode, but for now you can say that, let's say I am having an int e1, and in int e1 I am storing 4. As we know, simple to understand, is nothing need to be told here. But what, can't I write 4 as 2 plus 2? Yes, I can. 2 plus 2. And the same I can do here. Rather putting it in a comment, I can write 2 plus 2. And it is not going to throw an error, because mathematically 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, and 4 can be stored in an entry data type. No error is going to occur. Now what is this plus? Plus is an operator. In the very same way, what is a minus? Minus is also an operator. In the same way, we have an operator for division, we have an operator for multiplication, we have an operator for modular division, and all these operators come under the token category operators. Simple. Now if I talk about separators, what is the meaning of separators? Separators refers to basically our parenthesis, our curly braces. Then we also have square brackets, which we will use in arrays, which we are not going to talk about right now. So they are also a part of separators. Technically this line terminator semicolon, this is also a part of separator. Separator, anything which is separating values. Simple. Now coming on next, we are having some naming conventions. Rather, we are having a table on valid and invalid identifiers in Java. We are having the criteria here, and we have certain we are having certain valid identifiers, we are having some invalid identifiers. Now while naming, I cannot, let's just quickly come on the program once again. For example, I said that I have the right to name the class whatever I wish to. Maybe I want to write the class, I want to name the class void. You can see very evident that errors are there. Why? Because void is a reserved keyword in Java. Java knows what is the meaning of void. We cannot use something which Java knows. So we have to put something which Java does not know. Java does not know what is UGH. So this is a valid identifier. This is a valid identifier. What I mean to say is we cannot use a keyword as an identifier. Now there are certain categories. For example, we can start an identifier with a letter, with an underscore or a dollar sign. We cannot start an identifier with a number. We cannot write 9 pins. This is wrong. It will throw an error. And when talking about special symbols, then we cannot put anything except a dollar sign and an underscore. If you don't believe me, you can try. It's going to throw an error. Only dollar sign and underscore is allowed while making identifiers. If I talk about subsequent characters or special symbols, again everything is allowed, but this exclamation mark, this at the rate symbol and other symbols except underscore and dollar sign are not allowed. Java is case sensitive, which means my variable and this, both of them are different identifiers. Both of them are valid, and there is no invalid identifiers when the criteria is case sensitivity. Now no reserved keywords, as I already told. You can use this, but you cannot name a class or you cannot name a variable as int. You cannot write int is equals to 4. It's going to be wrong. Now one thing is that identifiers don't have a limit. You can let's quickly show a live demonstration. Okay, instead of E1 I can write here whatever I wish to. Whatever the length will be, Java will have to accept that, because I'm just going to remove E1 from here. Now you will see there is no error is going to occur, because the length is something which depends on the user. Java has no say in it. It is not going to throw an error. Simple. Now we are done with valid and invalid identifiers. Some naming conventions we have discussed here. Keep these naming conventions in mind, and I am sure that no error is going to occur. Now coming on errors. We have talked about errors so much in Java. We have talked about so many errors. We have seen errors rather. We have not talked about many errors. We have seen many errors in Java. What are errors and what are their categories? Let's quickly decode this. Definition says that an error is an illegal operation performed by the user which results in the abnormal working of the program. Programming errors often remain undetected until the program is compiled or executed. Some of the errors inhibit the program from getting compiled or executed. Thus, errors should be removed from compiling and executing. Okay, error is anything which breaks the syntax, which does not produce the output which we want. Most importantly, an error is something which produces an abnormality in the program. Now that abnormality can stop the program from functioning, and it can also give us results which we don't want. For example, if you see this, I am executing this. You can see error is coming because here we have broken the syntax. Now coming on int, and for example I wish to store the value 4, but by mistake I have stored the value, I had to write 4, but by mistake in a hurry I have written 44. For Java it is not an error, technically for me it is an error. So this is also a type of error which has occurred in Java. Java is not going to point it out that this is an error. It is because there is no name here, so maybe RT, and you can see no error is going to occur. I wanted to store 4, by mistake I have stored 44. For me it is an error. Whatever I am going to do with this RT later, maybe multiply it, subtract it, then error is going to come if it is not storing the value which I wanted. This is also an error. So simple to understand: error, anything which produces abnormality in a Java program. There are 3 types to it: syntax errors, runtime errors, and logical errors. Syntax error occurs when syntactical problems occur in a Java program due to incorrect use of Java syntax, like missing semicolons, missing brackets, misspelled keywords, use of undeclared variables, improperly named variable or function or class not found, missing double quote in strings. Whenever we are breaking the rules of Java, then a syntax error is going to occur. Simple to understand. For example, curly braces needed here, I am removing curly braces, error is going to come. int, this is the naming convention. Rather, let's come here, system.out.println, I am removing this dot, by mistake syntax error has occurred. Java is going to quickly point it out in the first go. I am going to click on compile. As soon as I am having some error, let's say, click on compile, it will quickly point out that an error has occurred. Please go through it once again. This is a syntax error. Now coming on runtime errors. Now why don't we have a proper definition here? Because runtime error is also called an exception, and we will talk about exception and exception handling in a separate episode. For now, let's understand that division of an integer by 0 is not breaking the syntax of Java. For example, I am coming here, I told that we can use mathematics when we are dealing with Java. So if I wish to write 6, then I can write it as 7 minus 1, and Java will accept it. It's correct, it's allowed in Java. 7 minus 1 6, and RT storing 6. 7 divided by 0, this is not breaking any syntax of Java, but obviously division by 0 is not possible. So you can see there is no error occurring here, it has compiled. Why? Because this is not breaking the syntax of Java. So compilation is going to happen. But when I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on this, I'm going to interpret my program, then you will see, then it is going to point out that arithmetic exception error has happened. Now you will see the word exception, and I also use this word. I said exception when I was telling about runtime errors. That a runtime error is such an error which is also called an exception. We will talk about exception in a separate episode. But for now, you can take the example of division of an integer by 0. Technically not breaking the syntax of a Java program, but obviously we know division by 0 is not possible. Answer is going to be infinity. Hence, compilation will happen as you saw, but you can see again compilation has happened, but when we are coming here and we are trying to execute this, then it is showing an error. Done. So you can say error occurring during the runtime is called a runtime error. Simple. Runtime refers to interpretation. First compilation happens in Java, then interpretation happens in Java. Error which is found out in the process of interpreting is called a runtime error. Last category is logical errors. Logical errors are the hardest to identify and rectify. They are the hardest to detect because they are neither identified by the Java compiler nor by the JVM. Programmer is entirely responsible for them. Syntax error has occurred, compiler is going to tell us. Runtime error has occurred, compiler will not tell us, but the interpreter is going to tell us. Logical error has occurred, we are not going to get any hint of it. For example, a very simple example is that I wanted to store value in RT 40. Let's say I wanted to store 40, but in hurry I wrote 400. So now whatever I will do with this RT, maybe multiply it, divide it, or perform certain operations on it, it is going to give me a wrong answer because 40 was required here and I have inserted 400. Machine is not intelligent enough to understand that what I was thinking. Error is going to occur. It will get executed. If my program will have logical error, it will get executed, we will get the output, but an undesirable output. That's it. And we discussed all the 3 types of errors. What are errors? We have also got a hint of literals. We would be discussing it in a separate episode. We have talked about tokens, and we have also gone through the points which we need to remember. And yes guys, that's all for this video. I hope so that you all enjoyed this video quite a lot. If yes, then please do comment down that how was this episode, and also let me know that are you guys enjoying this series. I request you that if you enjoyed this series, please do like our episodes and also subscribe to our channel. I will meet you in another episode very soon. Till then, goodbye.